Another Carlos Coucho corner on the back of a disappointing defeat away to England in Wembley. Harry Kane to Rashford making the difference. Scamacca on the score sheet for Italy. Spalletti taking a disappointing defeat. And Italy with two must-win games if they want to get out of the group and want to get into the Euros to defend their crown, because apparently being the champion isn't enough to be in a competition. And Jude Bellingham, gotta say, one of the main difference makers. England littered with talent. Italy, I'm looking at the team. No Chiesa, no Pellegrini. Zaniolo, I don't know whether he's gambling or whether he's playing poker or he's betting on Roma. I don't know what's going on with him. I don't know what's going on with Tonali. Verratti's in Qatar. It looks like you've got an Italy team. You've got Cristante against the likes of Bellingham, Rashford, Foden, all running at him, and it just looks like Italy have got a lot to do. We've got a lot to do, but Spalletti, it's been all right. I mean, maybe you look at the team today and you think to yourself, I'd like to see Bastoni from there from the start, and would like to say that Calvin Phillips at 2-1 has to go. Obviously, great play from Italy initially. You see Scamacca getting on the end of good work from Di Lorenzo. Defended well, hit him in transition. Well played, but an awful goal to give away. The penalty, he's just dangled a leg out. He's in the penalty box. It could be a red card as well because it's a goal-scoring opportunity. If you're not going to play the ball, if you're not going to win the ball, then you've got no business going to ground. And that's one of our better, most experienced and current Scudetto champions, Di Lorenzo there, who, like I said, did really well going forward. Rashford, you look at Rashford's goal, Bellingham making the difference all the way through the game. His footprints all over it. We've commented on him in the past. This guy's 10 goals in 10 games, 3 assists, but more importantly than that, he's just influencing the game from every aspect. He gets in there, gets the ball to Rashford, and Rashford is cutting inside 3 players. You've got to know what Rashford wants to do. It's to get it on his right foot and shoot. Italy didn't do well enough. Having said that, Calvin Phillips on a yellow card. He's late. He's overrun the ball. He's tried to recover it. He's committed a foul. It's at least a yellow card, if not a straight red card. And that would have changed the dynamic of the game. But there's no getting away from it. Italy can't afford to turn up to games without their best players in this current situation. No Retegay. Not a massive fan, but no Immobile. Pellegrini. Chiesa. Zaniolo. Guys that can make the difference. Just not enough available. Locatelli, can I see it? Can I see Locatelli in there? Is there any chance? Spinazzola, obviously DeMarco come on today, but Udogi done well there. There's a positive there. Unlucky with his effort. Possibly could have given away a penalty against Foden, but another positive sign there for the Italians. You're looking at what the midfield was with Barella, Jorginho, Verratti, and it looked like control. It looked like one of the best midfields in international football. And then you look at Cristante with Barella and Fratesi. And I mean, Fratezi's been on fire, but he's just out there running miles tonight, just miles trying to cover ground, trying to cover Cristante. And Barella, probably the pick of the bunch from the guys in the midfield. I just feel like Cristante in there, he's almost just going around bruising people. He's not taking up clever positions, but to be fair to him, he's overrun. But when you look at the midfield, from what we had to what we have now, Spalletti has a massive job just to get us to the Euros. North Macedonia knocked Italy out of the World Cup in the playoffs. They're coming to Rome. We absolutely have to beat them. And then you go into Leverkusen, neutral ground in Germany, where Italy have had success. 2006, Bellino, Beppe. Oh, Lucci, Bellino, Tu ricordi? You know, so to go to Germany and secure qualification. And then once you get there, you know, if you can get your players available to, that's one thing that I'm not sure about the Italian players at the moment. Lazio, you know, don't want to release the players because for the club's interests. But you've got Zaccagna. He had issues with Mancini. Real opportunity. Do you want to play for the Azzurri? You know, it's always good to see players like Scamacca, Kane, these players getting opportunities. Raspadori, that really, really want it. Fratesi has been fantastic. But we need Pellegrini. We need Chiesa. We don't have enough talent to just say, you know, we can go with our second and third string 11s. And just looking at the different Italian starting 11s every time we play England has been symptomatic of what's been going on. And that is that we just don't have a consistent 11 available of our first choice players that we'd like to have. I mean, and then when we look at England, you know, I look at the likes of Foden. He could go down as one of England's greatest ever players. What an incredible start to his career at Real Madrid. Bellingham, Foden, two guys there that potentially could go down as one of England's all-time best players. Then you've got Harry Kane. When Bellingham's coming off, you've got 100 million man coming off, and you've got Jack Grealish, 100 million man coming on. You've then got Declan Rice, 100 million man. So all over the place, absolutely loaded. Harry Kane, 100 million. Lucci, you're on it over there. Are you getting involved or what?
Sì, buonasera. Tutto a posto.
Don't give me that Rubiales kiss, OC. That kiss of death like I've betrayed people.
No, mi scuso per poco più tardi, mi dispiace. La partita.
Just I want to get onto this England team. I think there's real contention. I think there's still some weaknesses at the back. You know, they don't have. If you think you're going to go into a championship with Maguire and Calvin Phillips in there and just skate through, you know, people are going to challenge you. But ultimately, there's so much strength and depth when Gareth Southgate picks the right players. Picking Rashford and picking Foden with Bellingham, the dynamism there in transition is absolutely frightening, and it definitely looks like they are going to be one of the top contenders at the Euros if Southgate doesn't wet the bed and he can stabilise the defence.
Yeah, I mean, obviously watching the match tonight, disappointed for Italy, not quite at the races. Disappointed. Spalletti's just come in. Obviously, he's going to need time to bed in and everything. But I just feel like we're just lacking that killer touch up front, and I think the team doesn't really have any flair. And if we qualify for the World Cup, I'll be delighted. But
the
Euros, sorry, I'll be delighted. But I just, at this moment in time, it's a work in progress for Italy. We're not where we were, and it just goes to show what a great job Mancini did helping us win the Euros. Because really, we didn't have the strongest team. He just had us organised really well. But looking at them, some of them England players tonight in the midfield, I mean, we watch them week in, week out. Huge investment into the Premier League. Bellingham just looks from a different planet. Unbelievable. What a player that guy is. And, you know, I think with English football and English young players, you've got to be careful how you eulogise these guys, because we've seen it firsthand with like Theo Walcott, Michael Owen, these guys. I mean, don't get me wrong, Michael Owen definitely lived up to the billing, but I feel like with young players, you know, it can get the better of them. But I'm seeing things from Bellingham that I just don't think I've ever seen before in a young player. I saw Foden come through and thought, wow, who's this kid? But Bellingham, for him to go to Real Madrid, stamp his authority there, and I saw him tonight at the end of the game, hugging all the English players, but he was like a leader in the pack, and the guy's 20. He gets the ball, he drives, he's powerful. I mean, I was talking to a good football friend of mine, the kit man. It's where I get the JoJo's kits from and stuff. And and he's a massive City fan, this guy, and he just basically said that, don't get carried away. You can't compare him to like a remix of Yaya Toure and Zidane, but
Well, I think he's
a great player.
Not as much as the touch that Zidane has, or even the Yaya's technical ability, but that physical ability and the ability to drive with the ball and do a bit of everything is a bit Yaya Toure Hullet stroke. In terms of that, having that absolute physicality where it looks like you need two players to play near him because one player is just not going to be enough to contain him. You saw today Christanti just throwing away free kicks. But what I wanted to ask you, if we were going to pick, not in this England generation, but 5.
Or back in my day.
No, all time, 5 English players, right? Or an English 5-a-side team, all time, right? Just on that note, and then which players of the current setup might have a chance of getting in it?
I like where you're going with it, but can I just state the obvious?
No, absolutely, but you've got a knowledge. Let's talk. Let's talk. We can do Italy after that. We're gonna have to Italy after that, and then tell you what Italy.
An English 5, I can't really get. I'll do.
Who would be the keeper? Who's England's best ever keeper? Is it a David Seaman?
I think growing up as
Gordon Banks.
I think Banks is save on Pele.
Right.
Just makes him the best that I
Banks
kind of know of. Gordon Banks is the goalkeeper.
Centre backs. He's got to be two centre backs.
I think Rio Ferdinand.
I would go Rio Ferdinand.
I think Rio Ferdinand. I mean, obviously, we're United fans, and Rio.
Do you think Rio was better than Stam?
We're talking English players.
No. I'm just making it up as you go.
First of all, we're talking about. Italians,
no, I agree.
Tens, then Italians, and you move straight into an English 5.
Listen, it moves.
So basically, what you said.
Triple C, bro. They're all angles.
But what you said to me is, we're here to talk about United and Italy, but all of a sudden tonight, because England have thrashed Italy, we're going to make it an English show.
No.
Go with it. I'm fine.
Listen, you wanted to talk about Bex's documentary. Segueing. Okay, segueing. So let's see. Okay, you've got Gordon Banks, you've got Rio Ferdinand, and I agree with Rio Ferdinand. I'm just saying, in the corner of my mind somewhere, I've got Stam higher. Just asking you, do you put Stam higher than Rio? I'm just asking you off a quick one.
I'm not putting Stam higher than Rio because Stam wasn't at United long enough for me to put him in that bracket. But what I saw from Stam in a very short space of time, you'd be hard pushed to, it's not a straightforward pick over Rio. I'm going for Rio just for his longevity and the way he played.
I'll see.
Rio was a Rolls Royce.
Also, don't be upset with me, but I want another minute on this, right? Because
Rio always used to stay on his feet, and I love that.
No, look, I listen. I want to spend another minute on it, is because how I look at it is, first of all, Rio Ferdinand.
I can't believe you threw a Jaap in
against
Rio.
Wait. No, listen. Is that not a brilliant comparison? Because when I look at, I think 2 elite all-time players for United, I'd have them both in my back line. If I had to pick out of all our defenders, I'm going with these 2. But I look at Rio, 98 World Cup, flawless. Yeah? 98, or was it 2000, 2002?
2002.
2002. Yeah. But when he put on the England shirt, he looked flawless. I don't think he was playing in 98. I think he was on the bench, weren't he? He was he was there for the party.
Listen,
I believe it was
England. I remember the 2000
Adams Campbell
tournament because I thought him and Campbell
Brazil
were arguably the best centre back pairing. Now I normally think, if you think over the years, we've had guys like Baresi, Costa Curta, Nesta, Cannavaro, even Materazzi. We've had these type of centre back pairings that have got Bonucci, Chiellini. Sorry guys. You can throw them in there as well, but we've always had very good defenders. It's what we do. It's what we live for. The old Italian tradition is you just don't concede a goal, and you're going to score, but you can't concede. So we've always had. But I remember in that 2002, obviously there was issues with Totti, which obviously ruined my tournament. Rio and Campbell in that tournament, brilliant.
Yeah, Rio for me, every time he stepped on the field, I believe it's obviously between 2002 and 2006, he was good. 2002 quality. Every time he played for England, he looked awesome for England. For United, you could see the dip when he was out of the team, and he was top draw. But here's where my optics just kind of slightly changed. With Stam, he comes in. Yeah, and we go and win the treble in that season. He comes in there. But he wins 3 titles in his 3 years. At Milan, he still looked class. But where I can't escape my mind, also, when I just try and nitpick at 2 awesome guys in their roles, is R9. I think Stam was about as good as any player to play against R9 that I've ever seen in terms of keeping up with him for pace, in terms of the physicality, what he could do. Rio Ferdinand, there's 2 things that, like when I'm looking at the all-time best and I'm putting Baresi up there, OC, and I'm putting Canners up there, and I think Rio, for me, is almost like with Nesta, a little tier down, but still at the very, very highest points, right? I'm thinking
down for everybody.
I'm thinking
probably lost everyone.
I'm thinking about
I can break it down.
Rio Ferdinand against Real Madrid, the Ronaldo hat trick.
I know exactly where you're going with it, and I'm ready for you.
And wait. I'm ready for you. I'll tell you another moment that makes me think, right? When I went to Rome to watch when I went to Rome to watch the Barcelona game, and everybody couldn't keep hold of the ball. No, everyone was losing the ball. They were hounding us with the press. When Rio Ferdinand started giving away the ball, I just thought it's game over. When you know what I mean? When it got to the point where even he wasn't stringing passes together, I was just like, nah, not for me today. And these are the 2 moments. With Stam, I just saw Stam unnerved, unmoved, and just an absolute specimen throughout his career. I think it's nitpicking to say, obviously, for United and the longevity, you could say Rio, you could argue Rio higher, but I just think player for player, I probably do just edge Stam above him.
Well, the reason why I'm gonna go Rio over Stam is because the performance that he's on about against R9, nobody. You could have had Superman in defence. Nobody was stopping R9. I remember the goal that he scored where him and Rio were in a sprint, and Ronaldo, he had no chance of scoring, but he's just got that extra yard, and he's hit it first time early, and the precision of the shot is just outrageous. It's so much speed, it's so much technique, and I just thought Ronaldo that night, and I remember the whole crowd. I can't even remember if I was there watching it, because I think Redondo played as well if they were in the black strip, and he did a little Megs in the corner where I was. If I was there.
Was it on Henningberg?
I'm not sure, but
it was the back heel that he did round him, Redondo, wasn't he?
But Ronaldo, the Brazilian Ronaldo, that night, and I felt for Rio, because I thought, do you know what, Rio? There's nothing anyone could have done, because Rio was tight. Rio was tight on it. I remember this like it was yesterday, because I thought to myself, is it Rio's fault? But it was just how good Ronaldo was. And I think he did that to many, many top defenders, Italian defenders included, when he came over to Italy, especially for Inter. He was unplayable at times. And do you know what? It was a real shit. He used to send hairs on the back of my standing on edge when he went down with his knee and no one was near him. It was just like, he's such a good player. How can he have these injuries? But so I think with Rio, that particular incident. Now we're talking United Rome. I thought the whole United team. I thought Pep had the better of Ferguson. I thought Fergie, as much as I love Sir Alex, I think in Europe he was a bit naive, trying to play the 4-5-1. The thing is with us, we grew up watching Italian football and we grew up watching European football. So we've always known that it's all about slow football, controlling the game. And the problem that you've got now is you've got Pep Guardiola's come over. He's taken Cruyff's philosophy of space and movement, and he's just brought that, but he's brought it to the English game. You know, when in England, when we were kids growing up, did the keeper ever roll you the ball out? I remember playing in games, and all the whole idea was get the balls and go kick it up front as far as you can and try and score as quickly as you can. He's absolutely turned the English game on its head. So when we look at players tonight, and we brought Rio into the conversation. Stam was unbelievable, and I get you, but for me, I just didn't have him long enough, and I didn't see him long enough to. Rio was a Rolls Royce, and I always look at players a bit like you do, and I try and compare them to icons and say, who's the most like this player. You've got this Musiala, you've got Bellingham coming through. These young guys, they're going to get compared with players. But with Rio, I thought to myself, which modern day player is kind of very similar to him? And I'd say Varane. I'd say when Varane is on his game, he plays very similar to Rio because he can use both feet, he's quick, he makes good decisions, he's good in the air, he scores goals, he's a leader, but he's clean and tidy. You're never really seeing him sliding in and stuff. And that's what I loved about Rio, that elegance, that composure, and that leadership.
I am more. I think from an Italian point of view, the closest I saw to him was probably like Nesta, in terms of like classiness and then recovery. But
Nesta was an absolute class.
Maldini had a quote that what the best defenders don't make the tackles. They're in the right place. They put themselves in the right position, and this is something that Carrick was excellent at. Carrick, a lot of his possession play was what he's renowned for, but it was the way he put himself in that position where you're not going to play the ball. And maybe that was the communication he had with Vidic and Rio that allowed him to take up them positions. But if you're in the right place, you're not having to do recoveries. And that's what Rio did. And what Rio did also from a defender. So obviously Company was top class when he was fit, but Company would attack players like John Terry would.
Are we going back to the English five-a-side?
Yeah. I know. It's a lot of time, but we're talking culture.
I know, but I think it's clear that Stam and Rio, Stam just edged it, and you said your piece why. I'm back in Rio slightly.
That's cool. Okay, so we've got...
But you've got mad respect for Rio, and you think he's a great footballer. Because you've just given him that Nesta comparison, which is probably...
Yeah, no, I'm more happier with my defender making the attacker do something than giving the wicket away, because good attackers will just evade them. And Rio made you do it, and then he could get you for pace, but he would control you as well. And you obviously hear him talk about how he used to communicate with his keeper, where he would send the player as well. And one of the big qualities with Rio, which he says is one of his things, he was very vocal, wasn't he? Communicative. And at the end of the day, a defense is not about a player; it's about a unit, and he controlled the unit.
Going back to the original question, the best defender. I mean, obviously, I'm not overlooking other defenders just because Rio was a United player. You have got Tony Adams, Bobby Moore,
Sol Campbell was class. He was class, wasn't he?
Terry, obviously the incident, the racist incident that we kind of saw.
Listen, we all,
and then the messing around of the arm.
We all thank him for taking the fifth penalty in the Champions League in Moscow that time. But anyway, if we go back to it, we've got
we're saying Rio's.
We're saying Gordon Banks, Rio Ferdinand. It's got to be Bobby Moore.
Yeah, but the big Bobster.
2 at the back, keeper. 2 midfielders and 1 attacker. Who's the striker, OC? And it can't be Harry Kane because he's in the current crop. So midfielders.
I'm going to go with Wayne Rooney.
I'm
going to go with Wazza. And the reason why I'm going with Wazza is because
it's a decent shout there.
The thing with Wazza played on the left. He played up front. He played as a 10.
Where are you putting him?
Well, the thing is with Wazza, you'd probably play him as a 10. But if I had to pick a striker out of the English strikers, I mean, obviously Shearer, people are saying, but I never thought he delivered for England. I think Michael Owen did to a degree, but who would you rather have? A young Michael Owen who is about to develop hamstring issues.
I think I've come up on my 5.
Rooney. Do you remember Rooney in the Euros before United signed him? Oh my God. I watched him run rings around the French team, whizzing out.
Listen, that 2004 tournament.
If he hadn't got injured there,
he was showing you the kind of things that Bellingham's doing right now, which is just terrifying. Top defenses.
If you make that comparison, I think Rooney was more impressive than Bellingham because Rooney was doing it 18, weren't he? 17, 18. I know Bellingham was, but not to the extent Rooney had blown up, hadn't he? He was ripping world class stars.
And also the thing is with Bellingham, although he's doing the abnormal right now. Obviously, he's not going to be scoring a goal a game for the rest of his career. But in midfield, he's not. There's going to be a different expectation. Whereas you're an attacker, you have to deliver at the top end of the pitch.
He does look dynamic though.
Absolutely. So
I'm not. There's not a lot of players that are in that.
I've got my 5.
That ilk there.
Oh, see, I've decided upon my 5. Have you got yours? Do you want to finish yours off? I know
the
mine
English
is.
5.
Yeah.
So I've gone with Gordon Banks, Bobby Moore, Rio, Rooney, and what have I got? One more.
2 more.
2 more.
I'm going to give you it. No, because I'm doing. It's a 6-a-side like we used to do.
Right. So
yeah, you got a keeper and 2 defenders, 2
midfielders,
midfielders, and an attacker.
The midfielders, I'm going to go with Becks. I have to go with Becks. I have to.
Right,
Becks.
boy.
What Becks used to do on a football pitch. I mean, to be honest, I didn't even watch England until Becks became captain. I saw a little bit of the '98 World Cup because obviously I was watching Italy and then obviously he was coming through United's ranks and there was loads of stuff about Glenn Hoddle's putting him on the bench.
Who's your next one?
So I'd say Becks and
who are contenders? Shearer's a contender. Gaz is a contender. Scholes is a contender. OC, we can forgive you because obviously
Gerrard's a contender. Lampard's a contender.
For England, though. For England. For England.
Look, Stevie Gerrard.
Oh, see, what about the Ballon d'Or winner? So you got 2.
Michael Owen.
No, there's another one. The all-timer. 2 goals in the European Cup final. 249 goals.
Oh, you're on about Bobby C.
Yeah, he's got to be in there.
Yeah, he's in there. But listen, Bob. Right, there you go.
Because you've got to look at the best, haven't you? The best.
Bobby Becks, Rooney. So I've got Bobby Charlton, Becks, Rooney, Rio, Bobby Moore, and Gordon Banks. Listen, I don't want them to win if they're playing in Italy 6 anyway. But they're the 6 that I'd go with.
If we had to cut one out just to make it a 5, we're cutting Bobby Moore. Oh yeah. So
and that's no disrespect to Bobby Moore because obviously.
But we're just going.
I don't really know.
We're going with Rio, aren't we?
Rio was some. He's, to me, in terms of defenders, he's come through with that athleticism that Bellingham's showing now. But obviously Bellingham's further forward doing it in midfield. But I thought Rio was such an incredible. There was times where we had 2 attackers on him. And he'd win the ball every time, but he'd do it clean, and then he'd bring his transition.
I'm not really a fizzy pop kind of guy, but I'd be getting my pizza with a can of Rio Ferdinand. You know what I mean? And just drinking it, thinking about solidarity at the back. All right. But on the other side, all-time Italian 5. But we'll do 6 at first, then we'll trim 1 down.
Well, all-time Italian. So we'll go straight into that one now. I think goalkeeper.
It's
a lot
off.
of people would say
Buffon off.
Just through because he's been that incredible.
The thing is, he was awesome, weren't he? At 17, he already looked like he was one of the best, and he just never dropped until he got to like 90.
So Buffon, I've got to go Paolo Maldini. What a player! Great. He would be in my all-time team as well.
He'd be in my all-time team as a left-back. I know he played half of his career as a left-back, half as a centre-back. He'd go in my all-time team as a left-back. I'm still not sure if I'm going to put him in my all-time 5 because I've got to put Baresi in there. I've got to put him in there because Baresi is going to give you goals. He's got goals in his locker too, like Stevie Bruce did.
I think Maldini was better than Baresi. That's my opinion. That's what I think. I think he's the best ever. I think he is the best ever defender. Ever. He was my number 1 defender ever.
Right, here's my issue.
That's where
do you know what? When I saw Maldini in that left back area, I thought there was only one time in my life I was nervous.
Do you know he started off as a right back?
Yeah, okay, but I was only one time in my life I was nervous was Euro 96 when he was playing Kanchelskis. I didn't like what I was seeing when Russia were playing against him. Now, he just had a baby. Yeah, he just had a new birth. But listen.
You're absolutely picking it.
No. Hold on a second. We're talking about probably the greatest left back of all time, but on this day against a top class right winger and one of the best I've ever seen. Hold on. Listen, when you're thinking, I'm sorry to digress. Triple C, JJ again. I'm digressing, right? But if I had to pick, right, one of my favourite right wingers up there with Vic and Chelsea's, right? But on this day, I'm watching Chelsea's. We lost the game, and eventually we go out in the groups, yeah. But he got ripped a new one. It was poor, right? Now, also, because obviously he's played a lot of tournaments, and he was flawless a lot of time for an all-time great.
You should be sat on a naughty step somewhere right now.
Let me finish.
You've gone off on a tangent.
Wait.
You're picking it absolute needles
Career.
to try and get something on Maldini.
No.
Are you mad?
No, wait. Career.
Are you mad?
Career, 2002. Yeah, when we're playing against... No, I get he gets kicked in.
No.
Wait, let me finish.
No, listen, because I tell you what, if this was like a game of football, you'd be getting like a yellow card.
Just let me finish.
No, you're only yellow card.
I want to finish.
Any more of this and you're getting a red card.
No, just let me finish.
Absolutely. This is like treason.
Just let me finish my point.
You're talking to me about Paolo Maldini in a negative manner.
No. What we're doing is we're talking about who we think are the best defenders of all time. And we've got the likes of Scoria, Gentili, just getting bypassed over it.
No, you're talking about players that you've never really seen.
No, but
we're talking
to talk about okay, but to talk about the very, very best. Hold on. And what I'm saying is that you have to, I look at all the Italy performances where there were holes. And I tell you what, when we played Korea that game, Cannavaro was suspended for the game, and I was nervous.
I'm tuning out. I have to.
No. Well, let me just speak to the camera for a few minutes and come back in. Right? When Cannavaro was suspended ahead of the South Korea game, I was a bit nervous. Right? You had Maldini coming in there. Now Maldini, in the end, it was Juan An who headed over him, and now he'd just been kicked in the head. But between that game and the Russian game, there's a couple of games there where I'm looking at him and I'm thinking, I didn't see that from Franco Baresi, OC, in an Italy shirt. In Italia 90, 94.
From a guy who scored 100 career goals. 100 career goals. It's coming from a guy.
We're not talking about 5-a-side.
No, but this is where you're absolutely gone on a tangent. You've gone over to Kinchelskis and now you're trying to...
No.
Now you're trying to diss probably the greatest defender.
No, but we're nitpicking. We're talking... No, you're talking about who would be in your all-time 5 Italians.
Yeah, exactly.
So who would it be?
So I picked Maldini, and all's what you've done...
It's gone with Baresi.
No. All's what you've done is slated Maldini.
No, I love Maldini. He's my all-time favourite left-back. Definitely.
So what am I supposed to do? Slate Baresi when I'm an Italian football fan? No, but this is what you do. I picked Maldini.
Don't get upset with me, fella.
He's a great defender, and you pick Baresi. But what you've done is, to pick Baresi, because this is what you do, you try and put other people down. And that's your downfall there. Because if I was going to do that about Baresi, I'd just say, in the World Cup final, you missed the penalty.
He did.
Right? Nobody even mentions it. I tell you what, everyone talks about, Baggio missed a... No. Baggio missed a penalty, but we were going out anyway because Baresi missed a penalty. But no one talks about
Massaro.
Right? Listen, forget Massaro. We're talking about...
Baresi, okay.
You're slating Maldini, so I guess I'm going to have to reduce myself to your level. And I'm going to have to say about this penalty.
No, but here's my thing. Maldini, positionally, particular left back, centre back, full cut. Wait, let me finish my point.
You go with Baresi, I'll go with Maldini. I'm happy with that.
I might bring Maldini in there alongside him.
Let's
Buffon, Baresi, Buffon, Maldini. Who's your next one?
I'm going to go with...
go easy on me. Well, in fact, let's start...
I'm going with... No, the thing is we pick a player, we should talk about it, but we shouldn't spend an hour on a player.
All right.
We haven't got that
Apologies.
Well, that's where you
Miss Scusi. Right. Listen, we're on the same side over here.
I'm going Cannavaro.
You've got the Bandieri, I got the Bandieri. Come on, man.
Cannavaro.
I want to go with Maldini, but I can't go against Cannavaro. I'm going to have to go Cannavaro, Baresi.
The ball bounced up and chested the ball out, played it to Totti.
The Berlin Wall,
to Gillette
right.
Del Piero.
If we're talking about Cannavaro, if I may, a little couple of moments of Cannavaro, if I can. First of all, obviously, learning his trade against the great Diego Armando Maradona, makes his debut for Italy against Alan Shearer at Wembley. We're getting a clean sheet.
Hold on a second. You've gone from Maradona and then just jumped straight to Shearer. This is what I want to say about the Maradona thing. Cannavaro had to mark him in training and was told you cannot kick this guy. So he's got to be tight, but he can't kick him. And that is why he was so good at intercepting the ball. Sorry, continue.
Makes his debut against Shearer when we win 1-0 with Zola's deflected goal off Sol Campbell.
I watched that game in Monty's and I got threatened and chastised by about 60 English thugs, and Joey was there to rescue me.
The 5'9" assassin there, though, containing one of England's all-time great number 9s, containing him for the full game. And then
Shearer wasn't up to it for England. I like Alan Shearer, but he was not up to it for England. He wasn't.
Seeing him for Parma with Thuram, it was epic to me, because obviously Milan had that perfect defence. And Juventus have had some great defenders, even as old as Viekovod, Ferrara, etc.
Are we naming our best?
But what I'm saying is that Cannavaro, Thuram, Buffon triangle that I was seeing at Parma with a lower team was just epic to watch. And I don't really like defending OC, but it's just beautiful. And then in Italy in the 06 World Cup, the way that his mannerisms, the way he was in extra time, the way he was approaching with the smiles. But when Nesta went down injured and he's having to deal with a young Barzagli, and he's having to deal with...
I love Nesta.
And he's having to deal with...
Absolutely.
I had a kind of stop. Capitano. No, I'm just saying
got injured straight away.
What I'm saying is the fact that our defence was perfect. You know, we conceded 2 goals, a Zaccardo on goal, the penalty. No, but I'm talking about Cannavaro's World Cup, the Ballon d'Or.
So you've gone with
Canners and Baresi.
So you've gone with Canners and Baresi. I've gone with Canners and Maldini. Then we're moving into midfield. I have to go with Pirlo. I have to. And it's nothing to do with the hair before everyone starts saying, it's nothing to do with the hair and the beard. Right, but I'm going Pirlo. That guy was the Fonz for me in the middle of the park.
I'm doubling down.
Okay.
I'm doubling down with Pirlo. Under 21 free kick penalty, captain 2-0.
I think therefore I play. Yeah. What a book.
But I mean,
he's describing his penalty kick.
I think he's the greatest midfielder of all time.
Right. I don't want to go. We're getting excited.
The digressor.
Listen.
The digressor.
We're not. That's one for another night. But we're both.
Is he better than Xavi?
We're both agreeing.
Is he better than Iniesta?
I'm not getting drawn into the conversation.
All right.
I'm trying to keep us on schedule.
Canners, Baresi,
Pirlo,
Buffon, Pirlo.
Right. Mine sounds better already. Maldini, Cannavaro, Pirlo.
No chance. Baresi's shirt's retired, man. Greatest all-time Milanese player for the...
Then I'm going to go...
Millennium.
I'm just going to go straight in. I'm going to put everybody out of the misery. Roberto Baggio. Il divino codino che numero 10.
Listen, if
divine ponytail.
If it weren't for the Baresi shout, you'd be calling me a copycat, because guess what?
Oh.
Take me to jail. Yeah, I'm going with Roberto Baggio as well. And you know what I'm going to do as well, I'll see, just to be double dirty. I'm going to give him the armband. Yeah? Goat. Yeah, in France, they call him un chèvre. Yeah, so, Roberto, grandissimo.
Right, so we've gone. So far, I've got Buffon, Maldini, Cannavaro, Pirlo, Roberto Baggio. I'm gonna go with.
Oh, that's nasty. That's nasty.
1, 2, 3. Francesco Totti. Carico, il romanista, numero 10, la registra. I've got to go with my man Francesco.
Do you know what? I've got a pool of 3, and I don't want to go against Totti. I love Totti, but we've got 2 big shouts tonight, and I could be leaving them out of both. And do you know what?
So what have we got? 2 positions left.
No, I've got 1 position, but I'm saying there's the top 10 10s.
Left. Right, yeah, okay, that will cover that. We're getting on to that.
I'm going to overlook him in this case, but it's not that he's not out of it.
Listen, so go on, who's your other player?
Well, there's 3 contenders, right? First of all,
1 player.
3 contenders, right? First contender is Totti. Wait, Euro 2000, epic and unlucky. Epic and unlucky. 2002, epic, super unlucky. Redemption 06, but he was trying to ship the keeper 100 times, got dropped. Give him a bit of redemption. We didn't see the best. He's got about 500 screws in his ankle. And it would have been nice if he could have grabbed the game like Zidane was grabbing it before he headbutted somebody. You know what I mean? But listen, and then he retires. Totti was absolutely outstanding. But I think I'm looking at a 9. And also 5-a-side also. He likes to hit the ball from range. As I've said before, this guy would be perfect. And he still is great. Right, but listen, Bobo Cop. But then you got Bobo Cop. Right, you've got Bobo Cop up there as a striker.
Talking about Christian Vieira, go on.
Bobo Cop. Listen, 5 goals. Was it? No, 3 goals in France 98. He had the goals in the header against the... But anyway, dangerous. I'm going to give it... I'm going Paolo, I'll see.
Listen, no one's going to argue with
I'm going to have to go Paolo. No, for what they've done for Italy. And you know what? I apologise to Miazza because 34-38, he should be getting a shout.
The only disappointing thing with that is, first of all, he probably didn't see enough of Paolo Rossi, but I think there is enough video footage that Grandad used to have for him to make that shout, and that's why I'm going to let it stand. What's disappointing me about this shout is the fact that he's had to have 3 contenders to get to it.
No, I'm just telling you who would be in my contention.
We've still got a player left.
Have we?
So, yeah, we have.
No, we've got Pirlo. No, I haven't. I've got Pirlo and Baggio.
Totti, I've got.
Yeah, I've got Pirlo. I've got Pirlo, Baggio, Baresi, Cannavaro. You've got Pirlo, Baggio, Maldini. You've got one more because you've got a keeper.
No. Hold on. I've got Buffon. We've both got keepers. Then we've got 2 defenders. I've gone for Maldini and Cannavaro.
Yep.
You've gone for Baresi and Cannavaro. 2 midfielders. We've gone for
Pirlo and Baggio.
Baggio. And then I've named Totti.
Yeah.
So I've got one more.
Why have you?
Because it's you said we're having... All right, so we're only having 5 then.
Oh, we're having 6, but you've got guys including the keeper.
Well, I wouldn't have a goalkeeper. That's
no.
That's where you
and then, no, we're going to have
Why would I pick a keeper?
No, but we're doing 6. We're doing 6, and then we're cutting it down to 5.
Why have we even thrown a keeper in the middle? I don't even know why we threw a keeper in the
middle. It's Buffon as well.
No, but it's like, who's the best English goalkeeper? What do you think I was going to say? Pickford?
Seaman.
No chance.
That's Ronaldinho, Seaman. I'm going to...
Right, come on, move us swiftly on.
So, who do you... well, Rossi, what do you think of that? Shout. I mean, ultimately, look at what he did, OC. Look at what he did in 82. Yeah? God's a star. Paolo Rossi, OC, against Brazil, Argentina, the big boys. Right, okay. So now going from that to looking at the current teams that play today, who can break each team? Now, I'm looking at the English team, and I think defensively, nobody. Yeah, no one's coming into Rio and Bobby Moore. Yeah, Pickford ain't getting in there. No. But midfield-wise, you've got Bellingham. He could get in there. He could get in there.
Over who?
Well, he's at Real Madrid. He's only just arrived.
Yeah, but exactly. But
I'm saying
years down the line.
Okay, but you're looking at him. You're looking at what he's.
There is nobody right now who you could say is worthy to go in that team.
No. I'm not saying there is, but I am looking at English.
Well, actually, there is somebody worthy you could go in the team, but not from midfield. In my opinion, probably. Not from
Harry Kane.
Harry Kane.
You've got Harry, but for me, you've got Harry Kane that would probably look to get in over Rooney.
I think if you had to pick a striker, a number that, like a striker,
he's better at number 9.
You're going to pick Harry Kane.
Harry Kane can play 10 and do it well.
A different ball.
The whole pressing level. I mean, if you got 2000 and
Rooney doesn't get the credit he deserves.
If you got 2004 Rooney, right, for his whole career, we're not having a conversation. But let's be honest, he had injuries as well, didn't he?
Yeah.
The metatarsal, he had problems. But Harry Kane, where he's already at, the semi-final, the final, his overall productivity, he could realistically, or he's par for par with Rooney, if you're looking at what he's doing, he's going to overtake his goal tally. Then you've got Bellingham, we don't know, unknown quantity. You've also got Foden. You've got 2 guys in there at the beginning of their careers who look like they could potentially...
They could, but they're not going to get in the team right now.
Okay.
Based on what
no, but they've got contenders. Who have we got? Who could Italy have that come in?
And Italy have got no one either.
There's nobody. Donnarumma ain't coming in for Buffon ever. It's not happening. Yeah, although he did, the fact that his penalties helped us win the Euros, he's nowhere. It's not going to happen. The defenders, forget about it. Yeah, the midfielders, Baggio, Pirlo, take a night off. Sorry, Barella. Yeah, Pellegrini, you just don't play 2 games for Italy in a row. Chiesa, mate, what we're going to see from you, and obviously because you're playing that direct, you're taking on that many people, you're going to get injured. It's going to get more injuries anyway. I don't see anyone in this makeup, and I think that's how far away we are. That there's no one that we look at and we think, wow, this guy.
At least England have got some players in the team that could maybe one day get there.
That's all I'm saying.
But I mean, I want to come away from this because it's depressed me.
We've got 2.
So I want to go somewhere else. I want to go that if you look at this current team and you're looking at careers and all the rest of it, and we're kind of delving back, I think David Beckham's had a wonderful career.
Also, I was going to say, we've got two places we can go at. We can either go the Beckham documentary, or we can talk about.
I want to give Bex a bit of love. I think he deserves it. What I saw happen to David Beckham after that 1998 World Cup, honestly, as a football fan, forget being an Italian football fan, as a football fan, I just thought it was disgraceful. You know, seeing all them, there is hatred, and you get that, you know, when other fans, you call the team and all the rest of it. But what I saw with Beckham, with these people burning effigies of him and everything like that, I just thought it was absolutely disgusting what that guy had to go through. When we think about now mental health and all these things, Beck's, what he had to go through, but it's not just what he had to put up with, it was how he came out on the other side. And then after every single disappointment, he's just, his own willpower is just catapulted him to the next level. Like, for example, United sold him to Barcelona. He wanted to go to Real Madrid. One phone call, yeah, straight in there. Capello, we know what Capello's like. He's an ardent guy. You know, he's industrial. He'll make you work hard. But as soon as he thought that Bex was thinking about moving to America, just chopped him. Said, "You're out. You won't play for me again." And Bex was turning in on time for training, doing his running.
I've got a feeling I'm going to upset you in a minute.
Hold on. Gets his way back in the team, and I think at that moment in time he was playing some of his best football, and he could have stayed in Madrid. I think Bex at that point in his career, after what happened with United, that heartbreak, and I can see it a little bit with Mancini since Vialli's passed, that heartbreak's there. It happens to footballers. You know, you leave a team or you lose a teammate or something like that, and it just changes the trajectory of your career. And I think with Bex, he's made the move to America for his family and thinking about his future. And I think it was a great move. It gave America more of a global appeal, but the fact that he's been able to buy a franchise, you know, Bex potentially has got the opportunity there to create a timeless brand and to bring the world's best player over in Messi. I just thought it was unbelievable, incredible love story with football, and the fact that I'm seeing pictures of Bex with Ronaldinho, the players that he's played with. He's played for PSG as well. He played for Milan. Milan wanted to keep him. You know, Ronaldinho. He's played with all these, some of the greatest players ever. Bex has played, and do you know what? They all respect him because he works hard and he's a quality footballer. Now, yeah, he did like to dress. He liked nice things. He had different haircuts. But listen, as kids growing up, we loved him. He was an absolute role model. And the only thing left, I think, that would be justified for Beckham, for me, which I think he deserves, is a knighthood. I'm not interested in the emails. I'm not interested in anything else. But what he's done for the game of football, he's been a global ambassador.
What is football
on the map? I used to go to Italy. No one used to talk about English players. And then I went over one summer and people said, "Oh, what's your name?" I said, "Owen." Michael Owen. They knew Michael Owen. He was a big star, but then all of a sudden it was all about Beckham, Brown, Scolza. You know, it was all that kind of stuff. So I just think Bex, and I've watched the documentary, absolutely love it.
It is where I want to go with a couple of things that I want to go on Bex, and I will spin it back to you. No, my controversial one's coming in a minute, unfortunately, and it's only to you. But the first thing I want to say is that there's never been a moment in my life that I've ever wanted England to win anything, or I've enjoyed or partaked. And I'll tell it is what it is. In '98, when Bex got sent off, I was delighted. I was absolutely delighted. In fact, I was fist pumping it. I was at Marley Miles's house. There was Dom there. There was all the boys there, all supporting England, and I was just like, in your face like a can of mace, baby. How? I don't even like you. Give me that pow. It was like I was feeling all dirty. I was feeling all dirty. And the reason,
are you going off on a massive tangent?
No. The reason is the reason is get comfortable. The reason I was happy, Elsie, is because for me, I'm in the middle of a bad jaw journey in '98. Yeah, we get knocked out 0-0 against France after being keeping the world champions of that year toe for toe. As soon as we lose, Di Biagio hits the crossbar. Within 10 seconds, Elsie, the phone rings. Yeah, I've got a mate on the phone, Dom Griff. You know where you are. Yeah, he's calling me up, Elsie. just to put the foot in because Di Biagio's missed. So in my heart of hearts, also, when I'm watching England play Argentina, I just wanted Argentina to win. And then I've got the likes of Javier Zanetti. So, you know, they're doing these championship manager games at school, I'll see. I'm always trying to buy Zanetti. They never let me, right? They never let me buy it. And everyone's like, oh, Zanetti, you know, like, he ain't that good. Thuram ain't that good. Cannavaro ain't that good. You know, like, although I'm watching Serie A football, Javier Zanetti coming out of the free kick, popping it in. Oh, see, I loved them losing. Apologies, it is what it is, right? But on the flip side...
Is there a point?
Yes, it's coming.
Okay.
So
how long do we have to wait?
It's coming right now.
Okay.
Yeah. So... But the one time I've enjoyed an England goal was when Beck scored the free kick. I was so happy for Beck because, listen, at the end of the day, everything he took us through with the treble, what he'd been through, and when that free kick went in and they were going to the World Cup, because it's a big part of me thought, you know, if it's a 94 and there's no England at the World Cup, I'm not going to be upset. That's what I was thinking. But Beck's also was against Greece. He was doing the running for 10 people. It was infectious. His running. His work ethic, not just the way he looked, his work ethic on the pitch. And then when the moment of quality come up, who's got it in the locker? So I was delighted for him. And that's what I want to say. He's the one person that's made me who's made me kind of smile. Because I didn't cheer for it, but I smiled and I thought, fair play to you, Bex. Well played. Because I didn't like it. And do you know what else I didn't like? Here's the controversial bit. Brace yourself. You got a seatbelt, OC. I was at the game where it all unravelled, right? And it was United against Arsenal. It's when we lost in the FA Cup, right? 2-1. It's the one where Fergie hits a boot at him. And I'm watching the game. I've gone back to watch the highlights since then, but I'm watching the game. And what vexed me, because in a game where you're playing against a top team, it comes down to details and moments. It's either going to be a referee's decision, a deflection, a mistake, or a piece of magic, right? And in the first half, we had an absolute sitter, right? Just on the edge of the box, Ryan Giggs with his right foot, he skied it. All he has to do, OC, with a side foot, is put it goal bound, OC. He's definitely going in. He's put full foot on it. It's gone over the bar. It's an open net. How Bex is getting called out, right, for not tracking a 1-2. So that's what the argument was about. Oh, you didn't track a 1-2. Fergie was already of the mindset, because Carlos Queiroz was coming down. You saw it in the documentary. Oh, he's lost a bit. He's lost a yard. He's a spice boy. He's already thinking about all the worst case scenarios yet about Bex. And he's already got this in his hat when the 1-2's gone on. But in that game, right, what Bex has done is what Bex always does. Is A, work his backside off, and B, produce an absolute moment of quality. It was his 70-yard ball, also, that actually led to that open net chance. That Giggs he missed. Yeah. You want to kick a boot? Kick it at Giggs. Kick it at Giggs and tell him to stay out of Rodri's business. You know, that's what I'd be looking for. Leave Bex alone. You looked at Bex, you looked at the lifestyle, the cameras and all that thing, so and you thought...
This is a defence of Bex then,
but it's about Sir Alex Ferguson. And the thing is, okay, one of the greatest all-time managers, but he's potted Stam, and Stam's going winning European Cups. One of his great things is he's getting rid of players and he's bringing in next players. Like, if he doesn't get rid of Vince,
he's rebuilding a team.
If he doesn't get rid of Vince, Kanchelskis, Mark Hughes, if he doesn't get rid of all these players, can he bring through Beckham, Scholes? Probably not. You know, if he doesn't get rid of Rude, how's Ronaldo going to flourish? So he's constantly doing this, but the way he callously cut off people such as Beckham, unfair. Because Beckham showed for the rest of his career he will always work hard, even with managers that will freeze you out, like Cabello. Had to bring him back in to get that La Liga, even though he wasn't involved in the last day. He was a driving force. And then at Milan, showed his class wherever he went. PSG, when the ball, no matter where he was in the world, if you give him a set piece, he's putting in quality. And then he's going to work back. And here's where I'll bring it back to you. So I said I'd bring it back to you. The controversial thing was, you know, as great as Fergie was, you know, because of the overall success, it papers over the cracks. And way dealt with Beckham, I'm not happy. I'm watching him like talking, you know, after the goal he scored, I think it was Everton, the free kick, and he's crying to Gary Neville kind of thing, like he's about to leave. It looks like that's what he's talking about with him. And I'm just looking, I'm thinking, the guy's heartbroken. He'll give everything for United. These are the guys you want because he's guaranteed quality. And to double down on that, Not only does he get rid of Beckham, but Veron.
He's been at United his whole life. He was a United fan.
Veron was just starting to settle into United, and he gets rid of him in the same window. You've got rid of two ridiculous set piece takers to get rid of both that level of quality in the same window. When Veron in pre-season was absolutely tearing it up, the ball to Ruud van Nistelrooy for that volley that he scored. So that's all I wanted to say on that. I didn't like the way Fergie ended it with him. I didn't like the way he did it with Cantona. And you know what?
But hold on, we don't really.
I mean, we're not Cantona, we're Keane.
Yeah,
we're Keane. I didn't like. No, that's what I meant. The reason Cantona was in my name, so I was thinking like another topic that I kind of wanted to address was the all-time top 5. But before we do that, United favourites, like who are your 5 favourite United players? But before we get to that, what I wanted to ask you was more in the mould of. Lost train of thought.
Listen, guys, these things happen on Cole's Catch Show Corner. He's had a rant. He's hot under the collar. But do you know what? I enjoyed what you had to say about Becks. I'm a massive, massive Becks fan. And do you know what really hurt me? What upset me was there's 2 things I want to talk about Becks. First of all,
oh, sorry, I've got it back.
No,
can I bring it back?
You can.
No,
you can because you timed
I've got it.
You timed out live, and I'm having to rescue.
Jason Cundy, I've got to bring it in. I was listening to TalkSport. Jason Cundy questioned whether Beckham was world class.
Well, I can tell you. Right,
a guy that can go to Milan.
No, hold on, that falls on nicely to what I was going to say.
Sorry.
There's 2 things I want to talk about Becks.
Miss Scusi
is in 2002 where he broke his metatarsal.
Yeah.
The whole entire country was preying on Becks getting
Yuri Geller. Was it Yuri Geller or was that the Rooney?
No, it was everything. Right, they threw everything at Becks.
We all needed to put a spoon up, didn't we, for Yuri Geller?
I remember Beckham on a trampoline, just warming himself up, and he rushed back Becks to that World Cup. He wasn't properly fit, and he played. And I'll never forget it. They had a game against Argentina.
Scored the penalty.
He scored the penalty. Becks was that guy. He was that world class guy, that superstar that England had. And you know what? He was just his. For England, I just think he just went up different gears. You'd see him come into the middle. You'd see him drop a little bit deeper. He tended to look like he played everywhere. So I wanted to mention that. And then the other thing was when Becks came back to United and played at Old Trafford.
When he was like
41 or something like that, and he had the red kit on, and he was in America at the time. And I remember watching him, and I just thought to myself,
still class, still brilliant,
unbelievable. And if he was doing that at 41, how many more years could we have got him at United? And do you know what? He was just such a great guy to have around the club. You think about fame and social media now. These guys are doing, they're hiring out private jets and all the rest of it. So
when you don't rely on pace, like even Zlatan in his position, he's never been a player that relies on pace. When you don't rely on pace for your game because you've got technique and you've got ability, he could have played deep. You know what I mean? Like he could have given you all the way to 40, and he would have played in the deep role.
Well, I think he could have transitioned into that Pirlo, Scholesy. Because he was a great passer. And
do you know what? Like, look at his look at his misdemeanors. His misdemeanor is a non-foul against Diego Simeone. The guy barely committed a foul in his career.
Yeah.
No, proper clean. We used to call him Mr. Continental because of his diving actions. Yeah. Absolutely. But ultimately, the worst thing he did, OC, was put a hairstyle on. That's the crime he's done, was wear what they call sarongs or whatever.
No, I've got no issue.
No, I don't. But I'm just saying
Gucci,
but what I'm saying is from Fergie's point of view, the worst thing he's done is chosen to love somebody who's popular, add style, and you know what I mean, and just that's it. He's done nothing wrong, Olsey. That's what I'm saying.
The thing is, for Fergie didn't want celebrities. He just wanted people that put football at the forefront of everything. And I think Becks was committed to his football, but you can't be 100% if you're travelling down to London and back and you're spending 20 minutes with your missus or getting planes. You just can't. You can't function if you're not. Do you know what? Having the proper recovery, being professional. And I think them question marks. Then you bring Carlos Queiroz into the equation, who's like, well, I think he's slightly declining in his performances. And at the end of the day, but one of the things that has upset me about United is selling top quality players for nothing.
And
to Real Madrid as well.
Do you know when we say world class though, I can't think of a better right midfielder. Like, can you think of a better right midfielder?
I can't think of any.
So obviously you got right forward. You got right forwards like Messi, like Salah, who are playing like as a right winger. They do no defensive work. As a guy that does defensive work and then has the ability to impact the game from the right hand side, that level of quality, it's a blueprint. The corridor of uncertainty, and then when you're playing football, how much comes down to set pieces. His set pieces are at all-time level, particularly with crosses. When you look at the 99, it weren't just the corners. The two crosses to Dwight York against Inter.
Bex used to play the kind of passes that I see De Bruyne play. That was it. If you want to look at the player,
can you think of a better right midfielder though? Like
just
ever.
For me,
ever. Grincher again. Is he a right winger? Is he more of a forward? Is there a better right-sided midfielder? I mean, obviously, was Figo better than Beckham?
I mean, Figo at Barcelona was just, and even Real Madrid and for Portugal was unbelievable. He was just a different.
I know that Italian.
A different gravy, weren't he, Figo?
In Italy, we've not had excellent.
You can't. I think it's difficult to.
We've not had excellent
dribbler to somebody who's more of a.
No, but he was a technical player, weren't he, Figo, in terms of his crossing and his shooting. And he did like to beat a guy. But obviously, if you go back to United, you've got your best. And Ronaldo, when he was playing as an out-and-out winger, he didn't go back, though, did he? Let's have it right. And I think that's the thing with Beckham. He's giving you the duality. He's a two-way player. When you've got a guy who's working that hard back, and that balance of midfield of Giggs, Becks, Keane and Scholes was just...
What it boils down to is what your output is for the team. Now, if you can have a right winger score you 40-odd goals in a season,
like
Ronaldo was doing, you'd have to say that he's better in that position. Or
well, for one season, 2 seasons.
George Best. It's very, very hard to pick a. Was there a better right winger than George? But you could say that about George Best. George Best was phenomenal.
When he was there, Ronaldo, and he was playing, because the thing is, when he started getting his numbers, they just pushed him up front.
Best would have excited us the most. I think.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you can say
there's one for another day. This United, I like where we've gone for it, but I think we just need to do the right thing for Bex and just give him the plaudits. Bex, we love you.
Definitely, listen, absolutely, 110% world class. I don't do 110%. There's nothing more than 100%, but he's 110% a world class player and just a ridiculous guy. I'm absolutely just a little bit salty about the whole Fergie situation. Being at Arsenal, I'm like, why didn't you kick a boot at Giggs, man, for missing that open net? I mean,
what's the next topic?
Last one. I mean, what schedule are we on? About 55.
1 hour 2.
1 hour 2. Right. We'll try and chop through this, also, but I want to know who are the top 10 number 10s of all time. And it'd be easier to do it from the 90s.
I think you need to do your list because.
Right. Well,
I was thinking about this earlier.
Tell me which people you agree with that's cemented.
Okay.
Right. So top of the list. Do I need to do a background or we'll just put them in there?
Put them in there.
Roberto Il Divin Codino
Baggio. Yeah, agreed with. Yeah, he's in.
100%. Johan Cruyff. I know he's a 14. But what we're looking at, obviously, to qualify for the list, you've either got to have won the number 10 shirt or you've got to play in what we consider a number 10. A number 10 is the guy you look to win the game. He's the leader. He's the creator. He's the playmaker. He's the fantasista. And usually he's going to have a good set piece. Cruyff, that's probably why Kaka doesn't make my list. Yeah, I'm not seeing him take set pieces. And I think that's a huge part of it. Cruyff, Baggio, Platini, 3 Ballon d'Ors. What am I going to say?
Yeah.
Diego Armando Maradona.
Yeah.
Ronaldinho.
Yeah.
Lionel Messi.
Yeah.
I'm going with the number 7, but he's a 10. And I'm going with Eric Cantona. For me, obviously he had his fallout with French team. I'm going Cantona.
The triple C, you can get.
I've got Pele, Zico, and the last one. You've got a question mark over it. I didn't really watch him play, but this is what my research is putting him. Probably, I'm putting him in there all time, but we'll go Puskas. But if I probably had to go away from Puskas, I'm probably looking at Totti. And then you've got Zidane because Zidane didn't really play as a 10 except for France. For France, he was a 10, but in Real Madrid, Juve, he's playing as a central midfielder.
Right.
As a 10, he was great. He was great.
I'm jumping in there.
But I think Totti was a better 10.
You're likely to just go off on a tangent. So
that's my 10.
Jump in. So you've named your 10, but I think there's a lot of contenders.
Yeah, but
hold on, to get into that number 10.
Who do you agree with?
So before we start talking about who we agree with, there's guys that you just have to pay them some respect. So obviously we've got Baggio in there. He's in there. He's always going to be in there for us. Call it subjective. He's our favourite player. What do you want from us? No,
this is best players as contenders for 3 World Cups.
Yeah, but he's still our favourite player. So there's that biasness there.
Yeah, but he's still class, isn't he? He deserves it. Ballon d'Or winner.
Maradona's in there. Diego, what he did at Napoli, what he did for Argentina.
100%.
I don't think anybody can question that.
2.
Johan Cruyff. Obviously, the fact that he didn't actually wear the number 10, but in terms of being that protagonist, that inspirational leader, he has to make the mark.
That creative force.
I've thrown Totti 10 in there. Just for me personally, Totti epitomises what a number 10 is for me. A number 10 is somebody who creates things. He's a leader. He wears the armband. He's the best player in the team. In the moments where you're not playing too well, he creates that magic. He's got flair. Back heels, scoop passes. His imagination is through the roof. Both feet, left foot volleys, right foot volleys, chips, set pieces, absolutely everything. And when you need a goal, or there's a penalty or something that requires nerves of steel, he's definitely in there. But being a Roma fan, again, that could be classed as a biased pick. I've also mentioned Mancini, Roberto Mancini.
Definitely deserves an honourable mention.
He definitely deserves an honourable mention.
I'm also going to the European Cup final.
And this could cause a bit of controversy after I've gone through the list. So I'm not going to go on about each individual too much, so we'll do that together. But Del Piero, for me, needs a mention. Hullet, he played as a 10 sometimes, and I thought he was just a class player, Hullet. Platini, he's in there. I don't think you can argue with him. Ronaldinho, for me, probably one of the most favourite players that I've actually enjoyed to watch in terms of just from an entertainment factor.
At his best.
He always played with a smile on his face.
At his best, maybe.
Puskas, I don't agree with that. I think he was a great striker. I don't see him as a 10. But having said that, if we're going to define a 10 as not necessarily by the number, but the leader, the best player, that kind of, then I think, without a shadow of a doubt, he gets a mention. So fair play. I think Di Stefano, probably just a little bit out of our era, but I've seen enough on him to say what a player that guy was.
Well, Puskas alongside Di Stefano, they're both two.
I'd say Messi has to be in there. I think Leo Messi has just been a revelation in that 10 spot, and he's still doing it.
Right, so I've got...
Hold on, I've not finished. So Cantona, Pele's in there, Zico's in there. You didn't name Neymar. I don't know how you can have a number 10 conversation and not even mention Neymar's name. I mean, what that guy's been doing over the years. Zidane, definitely a number 10 in every sense of the word.
For France, not for Juve or for Real Madrid.
No, he still played in them type of roles. He was fantastic from a bit deeper. Yeah, but
we don't talk about Pirlo as a 10.
On the same token, I think somebody like Ozil deserves an honourable mention. In his very peak, he was doing incredible things, assists. Mateus, the German, I think he deserves a mention. Rivaldo, the Brazilian, Barcelona, when he kept him up. Figo, I think he was a great number 10. I see him more as a 10 than I do as a right winger, and that's where it's difficult to compare him to Beck.
What about Micheli?
Deco.
Cassano.
I've gone for Deco. Cassano obviously deserves a mention. Di Canio deserves a mention. I've also got De Bruyne, that I think he could be a 10.
Biancolini for Avellino.
I think Okocha could get a 10 shout. Rubinho.
Love JJ Okocha.
Riquelme, the Argentinian.
What
he's done over his...
Are you just naming all the 10s?
No.
Bergkamp.
I'm just saying some people deserve a mention. Kaka, Bobby Charlton, you could say was a 10.
More
was a 10. Bergkamp. Pirlo was a 10 for a time. I think even Henrik Larsson was a 10 for a time. So I think these guys all deserve mentions as well.
So who gets into the top 10, right? Cruyff, yes. Baggio, yes. Platini, yes. Maradona, yes. Ronaldinho, yes. Messi, yes. Pele, Zico, yes. There's two guys
Hold on,
there.
whoa.
You're not happy with Zico?
I think Platini above Zico. Have you mentioned him?
Yeah, Platini's there. Cruyff, Baggio, Platini, Maradona, Ronaldinho, Messi, Pele, Zico. Then there's Cantona, Puskas. The
Right.
Cantona debate, if you want to put Zidane above him, who do you have higher? Cantona or Zidane? Now, for me, Zidane spent most of his career in midfield, but for France was playing as a 10 and did an outstanding job. Cantona...
Won a World Cup, mate. You saw what he did.
Absolutely. Cantona told the French FA where to go, yeah? And every time he played, he just looked like the guy as a 10. He was a 10.
We do love Eric, though, don't we?
Well, he was a 10, and on the biggest stage, he was just performing his best football.
I have to.
Would you have Cantona in there, or would you put someone else in there, like a Neymar or like a Zidane? Would you put someone else in ahead of Cantona?
I think Dennis Bergkamp.
Better than Cantona?
I think Dennis Bergkamp has to be in there. I think Dennis Bergkamp, for me, I think he has to be in there.
I'm going to disqualify Dennis Bergkamp for being in my 10, and I'll tell you why.
I love Dennis Bergkamp.
Because he went to Inter
Milan. I just thought
Milan
he was a great player.
on the back of a great World Cup.
What I don't want to do is what you always do, and that is just slag a player off. I'm not about that. I'm about talking about positives. So if you don't agree with Bergkamp and you're agreeing with Cantona, state your claim for Cantona. Don't try and bring Bergkamp down. Bergkamp is a world-class player.
Can I have some objective criticism on Bergkamp, though? He went for a nice, hefty little fee to Inter Milan after a great World Cup, and he stunk up the joint. He stunk up the joint. Yeah, he went to Arsenal for about 12 games, didn't do anything. Then all of a sudden, it started flowing, and he found his feet, and he was superb. But he's no Eric Cantona, mister.
Hold on, what did Bergkamp do in the World Cup?
He looked awesome. He didn't win nothing.
What did Cantona do in the World Cup?
He didn't play in it, did he?
Well, there you go, then.
Yeah, well, that's because just because someone doesn't pick you doesn't mean you weren't great. But what did Baggio do in the Euros, OC?
He didn't play in the Euros.
In any Euros, what was that? Because he's a bad player or because he had bad managers?
What has Baggio got to do with Cantona? This is
because just because you're not playing...
What you do, right, if that cushion's red, you'll talk about every other cushion in the room to prove that that's not red, or that cushion's green, that cushion's blue. We're not talking about that. We're talking about 10s. You brought Cantona. He's not even a 10, right? He's not even a 10. You brought him in there.
He's a 10.
No.
He's a 10.
This is what you've done. You brought number 7 in there as a number 10. But due to the criteria, the definition of 10, we're going to allow him to stay. But you're there trying to tell me that he's better than Bergkamp.
Yeah.
Listen,
all day.
As a United fan, Cantona playing in the United shirt, I'd rather have him than Bergkamp. He was better than whatever Bergkamp was for us. Bergkamp, as an overall football player, for me, and his body of work, his whole career, everything, was a better player than Cantona. For me, it's my opinion, it's subjective, but it's not like, Bergkamp was this, Bergkamp was that.
Cantona was a better winner.
Into Milan. So you're saying you're saying that Cantona had a great career wherever he went.
Yeah.
No, because he told that he didn't play for France.
Yeah, but he still delivered for France.
What did
he
do
still
in
delivered
Europe
for France. Still delivered for France.
This is what happens when you try and debate. You end up having to slate one of your players who I love Cantona, but I'm having to slate him because you're just talking.
I'll tell you what he did for France. He's got a great ratio for France. He was living ghetto fabulously for France. But at the end of the day, there's a lot of politics, isn't there?
Listen,
46 games, 20 goals. 45 games, 20 goals. It's almost a Roberto Baggio record. That's 1 in 2 almost. He did fantastically well, and he scored in big games. But ultimately, he fell out because he could have been the number 10 there. But I'm looking at what he did at Marseille, what he did at Leeds, what he did at United.
Right,
obviously, retired
at 30. It's like an hour and 10 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. But hold on a second. You're going.
Do you know what? I honestly, I'm just not a fan of it, and I'm gonna have to state my.
No, but you went for Bergkamp over Cantona. Fair enough.
I'm not a fan of slagging off football. I don't. I love football. I don't like fucking slagging off footballers. Because that's what I have to do with you. No, because that's what you do. You slag off football. You bring people down to try and get your argument across. And as a football fan, I'm not feeling it.
You just think
if that's what's it called. If that's where you want to take.
He was an artist.
Close Calcio corners. Do you know what I mean? You might as well just roll solo like you did the first intro. Because honestly, to sit here and slate Dennis, but honestly, it's almost like a criminal offence to slate a player of that ilk, and just rather than just bigging up your player, Cantona. Cantona was great at United, and I loved everything that he stood for. In the I'd probably say one of the greatest players to ever play in the Premier League. But to then start slating Bergkamp, trying to find little ways that you can nitpick and bring Bergkamp down, I just don't agree with it.
Oh,
I don't agree with. Honestly, I don't like.
Okay,
like
but when you're looking at number 10s, what I'm looking at is even if the team's struggling, if a game's close, you can give him the ball, he can make things happen. Bergkamp weren't making things happen. You almost got a better opportunity of making things happen with Jaap. Now at Arsenal, obviously all that transformed, and he took it up a level, and I think he had a very solid performance. We're talking about the best top 10 10s of all time, and I've got another 20. You name plenty. Rivaldo. Players that are above him, in my opinion, Zidane. I'm going to put him above there. Would I put Di Canio? I think Di Canio might have had more punch up there. Okay, he didn't play at a team like Arsenal where we would get that you get elevation, but Bergkamp. I mean, a part of the joy with him, apart from his vision, his technique, etc., was the way he used to bring the way the team was built. The whole team was on a really nice stem, but he did it for Holland as well. Who's your 10th guy, OC? Don't be getting upset with me, fella.
No, it's not about it. Honestly, it's not about.
I'm happy.
I come down here to talk to you about football, and you start slating players.
Don't be angry.
No. It's honestly, you're going off on a crazy tangent that I don't want to be a part of.
All right. Let's just. I don't want to. I'm happy to drop.
I don't want to sit here and start calling players that I really like just to try and win an argument or nitpick. We're supposed to be celebrating football. It's not a celebration though, because you do it all the time.
All right.
You start calling players and start saying why they're negative, trying to find negative things of Rio Ferdinand before. He's just an awesome defender.
He is an awesome defender.
You should enjoy footballers like that. You telling me you didn't enjoy watching Bergkamp play, you didn't enjoy watching Cantona play.
I did watch it.
Talking about when he went to Inter and still cut the job.
I enjoyed watching Cantona.
Where you are, you're on a different level to me completely in terms of the way I'm feeling about football. You are, but that's where you're going with it.
In your top 10 then, outside of mine, you've got no Puskas and no Cantona. You've got Bergkamp in there, and who is your other guy? Because I would take Totti, yeah? I'd take Puskas out of mine and put Totti in there, just on the basis that Puskas is way before my time. I know Cruyff is, but I know more of his game.
I just think to just put Totti in, just like that, it's just disrespectful.
How?
Because he's not really your shout, is he? You'd rather have Puskas in there. So just say I want Puskas.
No, because what I'm saying is
all over Totti top.
No. No, because the thing is with Totti, 2000, when he came in there, he was our player of the tournament. He should have been player of the tournament, right? And we should have won that Euros. And it didn't happen, but it weren't on him. In 2002, he runs half the pitch. He's arguably been brought down. He's been sent off. He's been robbed. In 04, okay, there's the Poulsen incident and he's spired. There it happens, yeah? 2006, full redemption. He's got ankles in his legs and he's a warrior. And all the way through the career, he brought us everything to tennis. But I told you many a times, I'm taking Totti over Del Piero. Because at Del Piero, there was times where he didn't reach his level. Totti, we always saw his level. Yeah, Zidane, for me, midfielder in France, Juve, at Real Madrid. For France, he was a 10, but Totti was an out-and-out 10 all the time. And I knew that every single game, Totti's going to create something or do something to impact the game from an offensive point of view. I weren't convinced with that from Zidane, if I'm being completely honest with you. Now, I know it weren't a fair fight in 06 because of Totti's ankle injury, but no, I would actually have Totti in there as a 10. No problems with that at all. I think if he would have gone to Real Madrid, he would have shown. In terms of Neymar, look, Neymar is absolutely fantastic, and I thought he had a good last World Cup, which I really wanted to see. But am I supposed to take one out? Who am I going to take out? Cantona? Is that who you want me to take out? I think Cantona, importance, he is exactly what a number 10 is in the intangibles, in terms of the leadership, in terms of give me the ball with a bunch of kids and I'll lead them to the promised land. That's what Cantona's did. He's dragging a team to the first title, winning them cups. He's setting the wheels in motion, and I think that's why he would get the nod in mine. But look, I absolutely love the passion, fella. You are a number 10, yeah? By nature, you understand tens, and Bergkamp's an artist. He's an artist, but he's not in my top 10.
Listen, this isn't.
He's not ahead of Cantona. That's all I'm saying.
This isn't about me being a 10. This is about just discrediting a top footballer to try and win an argument or to try.
It's not about discrediting him. It's about saying who would I put in my top 10. I'm not putting him because of these things.
You said Bergkamp stunk up the joint when he was at Inter Milan.
You did. Are you looking at some stats for Inter? Not pretty, I'll see. But
listen, it's not about looking at the stats. It's just about looking at.
Stay away from them. It's not good reading.
It's about looking at a player's titles.
Oh, okay, and totality.
He's won 3 Premier Leagues. He's won 3 Community Shields. He's won 4 FA Cups. He's won.
Handed us the treble, didn't he, with the penalty that Schmeichel saved?
He's won the Cup Winners' Cup. He won the Europa League with Ajax and Inter. 5 Premier Leagues, 1 FA Cup, 2 Community Shields. Yeah, so that 5 Dutch leagues, 1 Champions League, 1 Europa League, 1 Cup Winners' Cup. You know,
who did he win the Champions League with? Did he win it with Ajax?
He got to. No, it was the Cup Winners' Cup with Ajax that he won.
Right.
It was the Europa League.
Who you with?
With Arsenal.
Oh, right.
In 2000.
So we've got our top 9 10s, and our top 9 10s agreed: Johan Cruyff, Roberto Baggio, Platini, Maradona, Ronaldinho, Messi, Pele, Zico, Totti, and then I'm coming with Cantona. He's going with Bergkamp. I think that's reasonable. I think it's a reasonable. We're 90% on the same page, Josie. Why are you upset with me?
No,
and I apologise if I upset you. I don't mean to upset you.
It's just I just don't like doing it. I don't like discrediting a top footballer. I hate going to Old Trafford when people start calling, Maguire, this, that, and the other. Don't get me wrong.
Maguire.
I can call it.
Maguire.
I can call our players when I'm at home and all the rest of it. When I go to the stadium, I go to support the team. I just don't like that. I didn't like your angle. Instead of just saying, listen, Bergkamp, my take on it is Cantona is a great player, one of my favourites, but in terms of a 10, I'm going to go Bergkamp. I just thought he was an absolute magician. I thought Cantona was great. He had leadership skills, what he brought to the team, but Bergkamp for me was just a different level for me. But again, it's subjective. But I don't need to say, so Bergkamp was great. But
none of us have Zidane in that 10 just to.
Well, I don't know. It's a tough one because
he's definitely on the periphery, isn't he?
When I look at Zico, he was a little bit before my time. So from what I've seen, to not have Zidane in that top 10. I think I don't know. I think he's in the conversation. There's a few of them that could be in the conversation, but it's interesting. I just think I've run out of steam.
I think the undertones of the 3-1. It's not easy coming here after getting beat 3-1. Definitely not used to.
It's been horrible, and then picking our favourite English team, man.
But
no way he came with that one.
So coming late, leaving early. It's just been one of them days, but. Fair play to England for getting the job done. Best of luck at Euros. As for Italy, Pellegrini, dove sei? Chiesa, dove sei? Retegui, dove? We need you back. Dove? We need you back. And Spalletti,
what's happened to Verratti?
He's in Qatar. He's only 30. He's 31 the day after your birthday. So he's 31 in 5th of November. It's absolutely on the horizon.
What about Locatelli?
He played in the Malta game, looks classy, looks good, but I can't have Cristante in there. We had Barella, we had Jorginho with Verratti, and now we've got Cristante in there. And I like what I'm seeing from Frattesi, but and Barella obviously is just going to continue to grow, but I'm not happy with Cristante back in there on me. I know he helps. He's a good squad player like McTominay. You'd have McTominay in your squad, wouldn't you? But you don't want him starting every week, see.
I don't know. I think McTominay, it's a different story altogether. Because I think if you play that guy in the right position, you're going to get the best out of him. And I don't think
playing him deep in a 4 is the best position. Maybe an 8 he'd get more out of him. I can agree with you more, to be honest.
You see McTominay for Scotland, and he's a protagonist in that team. I think he could do more at United, but that's up to Eric. Eric needs to get He needs to get some consistency. We've not even discussed the takeover. I think that's one for another time.
Mate, I'm not even interested in this takeover. It just sounds like
it's a disgrace. To be fair,
I had a dream. I had a dream that some guy would come and take us some shape.
Right, buonasera tutti.
Grazie a tutti. Buonanotte.